Well, what I do now is that cup of coffee at
Mm.
the case, watching the sunrise. That's when I feel as though I'm the most connected to myself, my thoughts, my feelings, and the world around me.
Hello, and welcome to the Business of Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tarryn MacCarthy, and today is going to be amazing, guys. I'm so excited to introduce to you a fabulous, incredible human being. Her name is Dr. Devinn Geeson, and she has a fascinating history. I love this about her. She says that she has been doing dentistry since before she graduated high school. And yes, that's actually, she's been in the dental world before she graduated high school. She was an assistant, a hygienist, an office manager, a dentist. She's been a consultant. She's been growing multi-million dollar dental practices and selling them, and has just been an expert in our field. I'm so excited to introduce her to you. But what I love about her most is this beautiful blending that she does with her clients, and she's going to talk to us about today, of how to focus on profitability, systems, and protocols and staffing, and also find that beautiful blend with life and work and finding true happiness and fulfillment in every day, which is what we dream and speak about in the business of happiness. So this couldn't be more aligned. Welcome to the show, Devinn.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here with you and start the new year off talking about something that I'm so very passionate about.
Oh, it's so awesome to have you here. I'm just so excited to know you and to receive some of your great perspective. And I love right before the show, we were talking about kind of some of the things we want to touch on today. And I just gonna from the get go here, I want to start off on this platform and your philosophy of live your today. So let's just get right in it, because that is such a beautiful way to start your day and live your life. So tell us, what does live your today mean to you?
Wow, that is a really big question to start this off, but I'm going to dive right in. When I built my businesses and I was running, 0 to 60 and 3.2 each and every day,
Mhm.
I recognized that by society's metrics and dentistry's metrics, and pretty much anybody who looked at me, their metrics, I had achieved, you know, the paramount of success. I was running businesses, I had staff, I had everything in the world that I should be happy with. And I
Mm.
found that increasingly, as the practices grew and the staff grew and the patients grew, instead of being happier, I found myself reluctantly getting up in the morning
Mhm.
and not wanting to deal with the things that once excited me. So I made the difficult decision to sell the practices. It's been just over a year. And from that moment, I adopted what I'm going to call my platform, the fiber, if you will, of my very being now. And it is called Live Your Today. Live Your Today means to me that what an opportunity I have, what a blessing I have to have the freedom to get up and enjoy the sunset with a cup of coffee and do yoga if I want, make my breakfast, whatever workout I want to get in for the day, whatever things that I feel offer me value and happiness and joy and fulfillment, those are the things that I focus on each and every day.
Mm.
And with family, friends, etc., I use that concept because we're not promised tomorrow. And I'm happy every single day that I wake up and that I do have a tomorrow. So each day I live my today, and I really work with my clients to do the same and start finding that balance.
That's so beautiful. I love that perspective. And I love that every day has that potential and has that opportunity, because sometimes I think we get into this kind of funk of pushing through the day to get to something else. And
Yeah.
we forget about the moment that we're in.
Yes, I feel that that few years where I really should have been so fulfilled, it's like a blur. I was like running down a hallway so fast and I couldn't see anything. I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't, enjoy the experience of just sight, smell. engagement with patients that I should be really engaged with, friends and family. I sacrificed so much of who I was. It left me at the end having to search to find myself. And
Yeah.
I think Live Your Today helped me do that.
That's such a good point because I think sometimes reaching for you mentioned what matters to me in this moment, and sometimes we've been living for decades focusing on what matters to other people and what we should or shouldn't be doing or feeling that we forget what matters to us. How did you get back in touch with what matters to you?
Whew, that's a great question. I spent a lot of days on the couch with Doritos and ice cream
Ah!
and kind of wallowing in what I'm going to call self pity, but it was the
Yeah.
darkest place, Taryn, that I have ever been in my entire life.
Mm,
It was the first time in my entire life that I didn't know who I was, what was next, what was on my horizon. And it left me feeling like I literally had no purpose, like I had nothing to offer
yeah.
anybody around me. I had to dig deep and I had to find help, which I think anybody who doesn't have a life coach or a business coach or a mentor who is so supportive and can literally be the legs you stand on sometimes, you've got to have that. And I was lucky enough to have a good many folks in my life who helped me remember who I was before I jumped off the deep end into all those practices and all those businesses.
Yeah, yeah, and thank you for sharing that time with us because I think many of us have been there and either gotten through by pushing through and we keep finding ourselves there again, or maybe somebody is experiencing that right now. What was different about the time that you turned it around? Because I have a feeling it wasn't the first time you'd felt that way. You kind of had been walking down that line of feeling worse and worse about yourself. So what was different about this time when you were able to turn it around?
I think freedom truly is the
Mm,
biggest thing, growing the practices to the point where I was able to sell them for
mm,
um, a wonderful take home. That being said, I had the opportunity to work when I wanted to.
mm,
And instead of working when I had to, it
mhm.
makes a big difference in your mindset. It allows you to retrain, recharge, revamp, renovate, if you will, the things that are going on upstairs and frame them from a different perspective. And the perspective of I need to be present. I need to find that balance of fulfillment that's been so elusive that I've been, looking for. It's always, well, once I get my degree, I'll be so much happier. Once I move to Wilmington, I'll be so much happier. Once I build the next practice, I'll be so much happier. And it's like I've been chasing it all this time instead of recognizing that I probably had it all along.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you mentioned that because that's the language we hear in our heads is when I lose the 10 pounds, I'll be happier. When I sell my practice, I'll be happier. When I get X number of patients or followers or clients, I'll be happier. And you're right. It's that kicking the can down the road and not allowing yourself to live in today.
Correct. In fact, it steals your today, all of those
That.
things. It steals your today and it can steal your tomorrow if you allow it to.
Mm, Tell us more about that.
Well, I think, all the planning in the world, all the preparing in the world, heck, you're never prepared for what life is going to throw at you. And I just believe that poise in the face of adversity can be the most difficult thing. And it really is all about, are we reactive or are we proactive in our thinking? Are we going to allow somebody to steal our joy or something, some concept, some belief, some pre-planned idea that you think is what you're supposed to be doing that really is not yielding the benefits, the return on investment that we all look for? Well, it's time to start looking for that return on investment in life, not just business.
Mhm. And in this day, not in tomorrow.
That is
Mhm.
exactly right.
Mm, mm, mm. I wonder what your perspective is about because this is a question I get a lot is what if your today is kind of sucky? What if you wake up and this is a rough day living in today? How do you approach that perspective, that concept, that platform of live your today when it's hard?
Yes. I think you have to choose to control your environment rather than be controlled by your environment. I think that it is a tough concept to master, and I am a work in progress. I do not master it every single day, but what I will tell you is the more time I spend focusing on what my blue ocean perfect day looks like, and the more of those things I can inject into that crappy day, like the coffee with the sunrise in the morning, or the yoga, or the I take 5 minutes out and I go outside to eat my lunch, or maybe it's that glass of wine, on the porch in the evening. Whatever those things are for you, find them, know what they are, and inject as many of them into that crappy day as humanly possible, and recognize that when you lay your head down tonight, tomorrow will be a new day, and work hard at retraining, programming your mind to find the good in each and every person, each and every situation, each and every thing. Because I can tell you, the worst times in my life have been some of the most valuable lessons. And you just have to recognize it and take it away and let it feed your tomorrow and maybe
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point is we all can have hindsight about those moments where we think, "Oh, this is the worst thing." And then you look back at it and you think, "Oh my gosh, thank goodness it happened that way. Look at everything that came from that." And if it had gone the way I had hoped, I would be so much less fulfilled and happy right now. And so hindsight gives us that power. But I agree with you. The challenge is in the moment to gain the new perspective when things feel really hard and to find what is the positive perspective here or what is the empowered perspective here.
Look
Yeah.
at what's up here as the penthouse, the most valuable real estate that there is, and control who and what
Mm,
you let have access to that valuable real estate.
yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think sometimes we believe our thoughts to be truth and sometimes they're not.
Yes, self-limiting beliefs all day, every day can hold you back. And I think it's important to, as Mel Robbins likes to say, get up in the morning and high five yourself right there in the mirror, and say the good things you see in the mirror. Say the good things you know. I'm a good person. I have a good heart. I have good intentions. Things don't always go my way, but I'm going to control them to the best of my ability.
So you just touched on a really powerful practice of starting your day with intention of making it a great day, even if it's going to be difficult. So what do you do, Devin, in terms of what do you do now? And then what do you teach your clients to do who are in active practice every single day in dentistry?
Yes. Well, what I do now is that cup of coffee at
Mm,
my face, watching the sunrise. That's when I feel as though I'm the most connected to myself, my thoughts, my feelings, and the world around me. I write, if you haven't pulled that book out and spent some time writing, more than just lists of what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, because more and more I find that my value is not tied to my accomplishments. My value is not tied to my accomplishments. The more I write, the more I find there that I can just find a peace, a calm to begin that day. Now, my dentists and my clients don't always have that much time to do that in the morning, but I do request that they do it as much as possible, whether it be in the morning or at night before bed. And I love for them to have a morning huddle. I think a morning huddle not only centers you for the day with your team, with your practice, with your patients, and with what's going is beginning that day with intention, but bringing the team together, working hard to build that synergy that is, well, elusive sometimes in
mm,
practice. But working hard with the morning huddle, I think, is the most valuable thing you can do to grow your team, with both profitability and proficiency.
And also, what you're doing as a leader of your team is showing them and guiding them how to start the day with intention. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm,
Very, very, powerful.
and so I guess the next question would be, what is the intention you want to set for the day? Because I think often morning huddles, we just kind of fall into where are the problem patients? Who should we look out for? What are the things we should avoid? So, from this very negative standpoint of like defensive protection, who are the, difficult patients we should be on the lookout for today. But I'm interested, how do you guide your clients in terms of their morning huddles?
I love to talk about first what went well yesterday.
Ooh, I love that. Celebrate.
That again, how can we optimize that, maximize that?
Mm.
What are the possible, possible, I can't even talk, I'm so excited, possible and plausible and positive things that we can
Mm.
take away from a great day and make it work in the next opportunity?
Love it.
Yes, and that's always first for me. Then I love my snaps and my pops, and that means that we call each other out for something that you saw that was wonderful. I saw that you helped that patient to their car. I saw that you held the umbrella while they walked in the rain. I saw that you helped them fill their paperwork out, or something that touched and changed that patient's life for that day.
Mm.
I think we have such power in what we do in dentistry, especially if you believe in dentistry. But looking around each and every day and finding the good that people do before you find the negative is, I think, a really positive way to start the day.
I love all of what you just said, because not only are we starting out by activating both sides of our brain, both hemispheres, by clapping and snapping, so kind of bringing our nervous system, regulating it a little bit, but also introducing a little bit of levity, a little bit of it's okay, nothing needs to be that serious. I really love that. And then celebrating and rewarding one another for that human connection, and reminding us each other of the importance of it.
Yes. And I think it encourages them to want to go the extra mile,
Mm,
because don't we all love praise? Don't we
mm,
all love to be patted on the back and, somebody to say, "Hey, you did a really good job with that."
mm.
I just think it doesn't have to be $5 in your pocket. I'd
Yeah.
rather have $5 of really great real estate.
Hey guys, I'm interrupting your podcast episode to let you know about an incredible new program that I'm launching in January of 2023. It is specifically for practitioners in medicine and dentistry to help you rediscover happiness and inner fulfillment within your profession and your life. I remember what it was like for me when years ago I was so depressed and anxious and feeling like I had created and built a treadmill I just couldn't get off of, pushing through every day and wishing my life away. This program is the how of how to find happiness in your practice and in your life. Because we know that when we feel good, that's when we can do good. Check out thebizofhappiness.com/radical happiness, or click the link in the show notes. I cannot wait to see you there. Yeah, of value. Yeah, you recognize me. Yeah. Yeah,
You see me.
so cool. I was keep having this image that you brought up at the beginning of the interview of flying down the hallway with your, from the one patient to the next, kind of your blinders on, your visual blinders, your energetic blinders, just kind of getting through the day, going from one thing to another. And I think so many of us live in that space. I love the idea of the morning huddle and starting out with that intention. Do you have any other suggestions during those next 10 hours when we sometimes go on blinder mode and fly through that hallway? What else do you recommend in terms of finding that balance and also the ability to live in the moment?
Yes. I always recommend that we find a way, each team member, to touch again at least one patient. If
Mm,
if each of us change the perspective, the experience of one patient,
mhm.
well, gosh, that's 8 or 10 patients in the day that we have done something special for. And I think it really feels good to know that you've had that positive impact. It gives us that purpose, that drive, that momentum that makes us want to get out of bed in the morning
Yeah.
and do it again tomorrow. But I encourage folks to really work to touch at least one person. Whatever your venue is to do that, I empower you to do so. I think that a couple times a day, take a trip into the lab, take a trip into the break room. Hopefully there's no cupcakes in there. You, you stretch, you go up back and holler if you have to, if you
Yeah.
need to shake off some negative, anxious type stuff. Hey, Taylor Swift, she said, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. We should do that. And then really at the end of the day, get the heck out of there. If everything is done the right way, meaning I like to stack the deck, do the easy things at the end of the day so that we have time to get those notes in, make sure everything happens, and everybody goes home on time. Nobody's dragging feet around there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, trying to pour up models. We work as a team to make sure those things happen. Everybody goes home on time to their family and the things that matter to them.
Love that, because those other things harbor resentment, frustration, burnout.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. And I really love the idea of recognizing the impact that you have made on one person and really valuing how important that is. I think we lose sight of how big it is, what a big impact we have on people's lives.
Yes. If you haven't delivered an anterior partial denture to someone who's been lacking a smile, who felt that they couldn't, go into church or a bar or out to eat and maybe look for a spouse or a partner, or somebody who felt like they couldn't smile at the job interview and maybe they didn't job for that reason, or a mom who has a child who's in pain and now you fix that. If you haven't done any of those things and felt from that person how important it was to them, you know, and I know everybody has. It's just important to feel it. It's important to take that away instead of the one patient out of the whole day who caused you trouble, who was the one you were defending against first thing in that whole. I don't even want to talk about that in huddle. I want to go into that room with my eyes wide open and I want to make my judgment about that patient on that day. I don't want to hear what happened last time and that they had a bad day or they were grouchy or whatever the case may be. I want to do what I do best, which is touch people. And I hope that I inspire my team and the clients I work with to do that as well. And maybe this visit isn't the same as last visit. And maybe we've labeled them and kind of, set ourselves up for a mental failure that day.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because often those patients, so very similar to what we were saying about the tough day, sometimes the tough patients are the most rewarding ones too, because those patients are often coming to our offices with a sense of maybe some trauma of their own, some anxiety. 99% of it is not about us, it's about what they're going through. And what an opportunity to make a real impact in someone's life. Somebody who's feeling anxious or defensive or blaming, but to have an opportunity to just let them feel their feelings and then still take care of them.
Yes. I always look at a patient like that, or every patient for that matter, kind of like a puzzle. I want to tailor make their experience to their needs, wants, desires, their financial capabilities. And I find that if I focus on that, at the end, when I win, when I get the treatment scheduled or I made whatever it was I was trying to make happen, I feel like I, climbed a mountain and I put my little flag on top and I'm like, yeah. But sometimes recognizing that them making it in and sitting in that chair
Yes.
was them climbing that mountain and putting their little flag on top and recognizing that, maybe they did have a bad experience or, you know, they have the fear of the finances or just the dentistry, recognizing that that was their goal for the day
Yeah.
and how valuable that is for them can help you to put in perspective your value.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Ah, thank you, Devin, for all that you do. It's so cool. I'm so grateful that there are people like you out there that aren't just focusing on the systems and the protocol. And I mean, all of those are so critical for us to be able to deliver our very best work and the communication skills with our team, which I know you work on as well. But thank you for also introducing and recognizing the value of the human side and taking care of ourselves in order to be able to deliver our very best.
Well, I made a lot of mistakes on my own. And once
Yeah.
you do that, you find the ways to correct them. And that's what life is about every single day in dentistry and out.
Really cool. So I know you've got some really great speaking opportunities this year where you're going to be delivering some of this great message. One of them, ladies and gentlemen, is happening in Egypt, which is amazing on Mars Mugo's phenomenal Safari and Smile. So if anybody out there in the dental world is looking to travel to Africa to earn some great information and learn some great things and also explore Egypt, you can find Devinn there. And Devinn, when is that happening? When is your speech?
It is the first week in March, and I am I'm elated. I cannot wait.
So exciting.
Yes.
What a cool 2023. And then you're also speaking at Eric Block's Roses and Thorns in May.
Yes. Curran Najawan and Eric Block are putting on Roses and Thorns in Chicago. And I think it's about 30 dentists. So it's going to be really dig deep, the top 5% of your practice and the bottom 5%. And we're going to focus on all those things, which I think is going to be really powerful.
I love that. What a cool concept. And, for anybody who's listening right now, would love to find more of you. I'll put your links in the show notes. So definitely find them there. But if somebody's driving right now, how can they find you, Devinn?
Easiest way, www.thepeptalkdoc.com.
The Pep Talk Doc. Where did that come from?
Well, they said that I was so peppy in the morning during my morning huddles, and that, my focus has always been be positive, stay positive, and, let positivity fuel your desire to operate with an edge with dentistry. And so the Pep Talk Doc is what stuck.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. And before we leave, I do have to ask you the question I ask of everybody. What now for you, Devinn, at this season of your life is your definition of happiness?
Oh, wow. Freedom,
Mm,
but really sharing this message of Live Your Today with my clients, with dentists, with hygienists, with assistants, with whoever will listen to me, the waitress at the Waffle House, if she will have me. I want everybody to know and recognize and understand that being in the moment each and every day is the most valuable thing over any dollar, any gold, any silver you will ever take to the bank. It's the most valuable.
love it. Love it. Thank you so much to you. And thank you to all of you for joining us here today. We're so grateful to you for starting out 2023 with this perspective and for honoring your happiness and the importance your happiness plays in your ability to deliver your best to your patients, to your team, and to your families. Until next time, remember when you feel good, that's when you can do good. Bye bye.